Hello and a very warm welcome to this edition of Question Hour, the special show which we bring you from inside the Parliament House complex, wherein some questions which were asked by the members of Parliament earlier in the House and their answers given by the government are brought to you. I'm Vishal Dahiya and with me is my colleague Kriti Mishra.
Thank you so much, Vishal. So let's commence the Question Hour show. And the first question that we've picked up is from members T. Subbiramia Reddy and also Ambika Soni. And this one is to the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. And these members have asked whether government has set the goal for reducing crude oil imports.
Well, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Ministry has given a very detailed answer to this question, and it says that the ministry is working in collaboration with various central government ministries to achieve the goal to reduce the dependency on imports from oil and gas. Now, the five-pronged strategy in this context broadly comprises of increasing domestic production of oil and gas, promoting energy efficiency and conservation measures, giving thrust on demand substitution, capitalizing untapped potential in biofuels and other alternate fuels, renewables, and implementing measures for refinery process improvements. Government has taken several steps to enhance exploration and production of oil and gas in the country, which include policy for relaxations, extensions and clarifications under production sharing contract regime for early monetization of hydrocarbon discoveries, discovered small field policy, hydrocarbon exploration and license policy, policy for extension of production sharing contracts, policy for early monetization of coal bed methane, and setting up of national data repository, approval of appraised areas in sedimentary basins, reassessment of hydrocarbon resources, policy framework to streamline the working of production sharing contracts in pre-NELP and NELP blocks, policy to promote and incentivize enhanced recovery methods for oil and gas, policy framework for exploration and exploitation of unconventional hydrocarbons under existing production sharing contracts, coal bed methane contracts and nomination fields. Well, the next question is by member Binoy Vishwam, and this one is addressed to the Ministry of Jal Shakti, wherein the member wants to know from the government whether it is a fact that India is staring at a water emergency, with reports stating that 21 cities, including Delhi, Bengaluru, Chennai and Hyderabad, will run out of the groundwater by 2020.
The government further says that water being a state subject, initiatives on water management, including conservation of groundwater, is primarily states' responsibility. A number of states have done notable work in this regard. Of these, mention can be made of Mukhyamantri Jal Swavlamban Abhiyan in Rajasthan, Jal Yukt Shivir Abhiyan in Maharashtra, Sujalam Suflam Jal Sanchay Abhiyan in Gujarat, Mission Kakatya in Telangana, and Neeru Chettu in Andhra Pradesh, among others. Let's move on to the next question asked by member Satyanarayan Jatia, and this one is to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And Mr. Jatia has asked about the details or measures taken to make medical treatment accessible to all under the Ayushman Bharat Yojana and the details of beneficiaries and amounts spent during the year 2018-19.
Well, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in its response says that the Ayushman Bharat Yojana comprises of two components, namely provision of comprehensive primary health care, that is CPHC, through Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centres and Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Now, facilities under ABHWC are available to all and include preventive and primary health care. Under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, health coverage up to Rs 5 lakh per family per annum is being provided to around 10.74 crore poor deprived families based on socio-economic caste census for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization. For implementation of ABPMJAY, Memorandum of Understanding has been signed with 33 states and union territories, out of which 30 have started to implement the same. Also, the ministry says that under ABPMJAY, 1,394 benefit packages have been put in place for usage of hospitals empaneled under the scheme for providing the treatment to the beneficiaries. Now, this includes packages for polytrauma and emergency management as well. Well, the next question has been asked by two members, Sambaji Chhatrapati and TG Venkatesh, and this one is addressed to the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, wherein both the members wants to know from the government whether it has set an ambitious target of producing 500 gigawatt energy by 2030 over and above the 175 gigawatt by 2022 as part of the climatic commitment.
As per the Government of India's submission to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change on Intended Nationally Determined Contributions, a cumulative electric power capacity of 40% from non-fossil fuel-based energy resources is to be installed by the year 2030. Accordingly, the government has set a target of installing renewable energy capacity of 175 gigawatts by the year 2022. The government is regularly monitoring the progress being made to achieve the target of 175 gigawatts by the year 2022, and a total of 80.46 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity has been installed in the country as on 30th of June 2019, which includes 29.55 gigawatts from solar and 36.37 gigawatts from wind power. Moving on to the next question asked by member Rakesh Sinha, and this one pertains to the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. And Mr. Sinha has asked, what is government's plan to provide houses to homeless by the year 2022? Essentially talking about Housing for All scheme.
Well, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs has given a very detailed answer to this question, and it starts by saying that land and colonization are state subjects. Therefore, it comes in the domain of state and union territory governments to cater to the needs of the housing of its citizens. Government of India, however, has launched Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban on 25th of June 2015 to provide central assistance to states and union territories for addressing housing requirement of all eligible beneficiaries by 2022. Under PMAY Urban, the state and union territories have undertaken demand survey for assessing the actual demand of houses. Now, the validated demand is around 112 lakh houses. So far, 83.69 lakh houses, including 1.95 lakh houses for middle income groups category, have been sanctioned for construction under PMAY Urban, and an amount of rupees 51,550 crore have been released to the states and union territories. The ministry further says that selection and identification of beneficiaries for the projects taken up under the mission is decided by states and union territory governments concerned. Now, the states and UTs have to approach the ministry only for release of central assistance for projects approved at the state level. And till date, out of the total 83.69 lakh houses sanctioned under the mission, 4.48 lakh houses belong to scheduled tribe households. The next question is to the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and this one is by member MP Virendra Kumar, who wants to know from the government about the details of the progress made towards the establishment of old age homes in the country according to the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007, and whether government proposes to encourage productive aging, providing the elderly with opportunities to contribute meaningfully to the society.
The government has given a very detailed reply here, and the government goes on to say that as per Section 19 of the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007, the state governments may establish and maintain such number of old age homes at accessible places as it may deem necessary in a phased manner, beginning with at least one in each district to accommodate in such homes a minimum of 150 senior citizens who are in need of such a home. Data in this regard is not maintained centrally. However, the ministry under the scheme of Integrated Program for Senior Citizens provides financial assistance to 419 senior citizens' homes in 243 districts of the country. The government further says to raise awareness on the various provisions of this act, the government produces and releases advertisements in Hindi, English and regional languages in print media, electronic and outdoor media. Audio and video spots have been broadcast, telecast through Doordarshan, private television channels, digital cinema, LED LCD panels at railway station, audio announcements at bus station, private FM channels and All India Radio. A weekly radio program, namely Savarte Jain, Jeevan Ki Rahein, is broadcast to spread awareness on the provisions of the Act. Outdoor media display is done through hoardings, unipoles, metro train, backlit panels. Besides, the government is using social media, namely Facebook, Twitter and YouTube, and new media like SMS burst and WhatsApp messages also. Government also conducts seminars and conferences and provides funding to the voluntary organizations for awareness generation at the local level. Moreover, the department organizes from time to time sensitization and awareness programs for school college students as well as representatives of Panchayati Raj institutions and police functionaries. The ministry encourages productive aging of elderly through its scheme of Rashtriya Vyashri Yojana, under which physical aids and assistive living devices such as walking sticks, tripods, quadpods, walkers, wheelchairs, hearing aids, dentures and spectacles are provided free of cost to the senior citizens belonging to the BPL category. Moving on to the last question asked by member Kanta Kardam, and this one is to the Ministry of Communications. And Mrs. Kardam has asked, where the government has provided internet facilities to the panchayats to extend the benefits of communication and information technology to the people living in the rural areas of India.
Well, the Ministry of Communications in its response says that BharatNet project is being implemented in phased manner to provide broadband connectivity to all the Gram Panchayats, approximately 2.5 lakh in the country, as on 11th of July 2019, by laying 3,48,161 kilometer optical fiber cable, that is OFC. A total of 1,31,756 Gram Panchayats have been connected, out of which 1,20,791 Gram Panchayats have been made service ready. In addition, 882 Gram Panchayats have been made service ready on satellite media. As part of this project, the last mile connectivity through Wi-Fi or any other suitable broadband technology is being provided at all the Gram Panchayats in the country. Now, the Digital Communications Commission, that is DCC, has approved to award the work of provisioning of 2 Wi-Fi access points in about 10,000 Gram Panchayats of Rajasthan for implementation through Government of Rajasthan, and in the remaining Gram Panchayats of BharatNet Phase 1 through CSC E-Governance Services India Limited. So far, Wi-Fi hotspots have been installed at 43,558 Gram Panchayats, and out of them, services are being provided in 14,770 Gram Panchayats, catering to about 12.4 lakh users. Further, 31,531 fibers to the home FTTH connections have been provided as well. The ministry further says that the following initiatives have been taken for providing broadband internet facilities in the Gram Panchayats. Number 1, setting up of Wi-Fi chopals at 5,000 Gram Panchayats using BharatNet infrastructure. Wi-Fi chopals are being set up in 5,000 Gram Panchayats by CSC E-Governance Services India Limited. As of now, Wi-Fi chopals have been set up, installed at the 5,000 Gram Panchayats, and services are being provided in 3,145 Gram Panchayats. Wi-Fi hotspots at 200 Gram Panchayats by Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited or BSNL using BharatNet backhaul. BSNL pilot is to provide last mile connectivity for broadband services through Wi-Fi in 200 Gram Panchayats. Wi-Fi hotspots have been set up, installed at 75 Gram Panchayats. And lastly, 19,512.5 crore rupees have been dispersed by Universal Service Obligation Fund to Bharat Broadband Network Limited for the BharatNet project. So, Kriti, that's all we have for our viewers in Question Hour today.
That's right, Vishal. Prashn Kal with our colleagues Kriti Singh and Arvind Singh on the other side. Stay tuned.